Alright, let's see what we got going here. Middle of game 1, I believe. Waroo versus Afanis. Fairly close game. I believe the Afanis was ahead initially, as expected, but it looks like the Waroo is 2 up. Hand-wise, it looks like we have 5 cards in hand for the Afanis. I'm not sure how many in the Waroo. It seems like 3 or 4 potentially. And past that, board state looks like it's in favor of the Waroo at the moment. Use the helping hand to remove the fleeting from the Sneezer Shroom. Looks like it has 2 boosts currently. Apologize in advance as far as the uniques are concerned. Obviously I will not be able to read them. This is the best quality that is available from the original Ludotrotter stream. Also, if I need to stop this at any point, someone just let me know. Just figured we'd do some English-based stream. But yeah, anyone that is watching, feel free to jump in. I continue a link to my individual server, and if you want to add some commentary, feel free. Ooh, double Quets being played. Interesting. I think it's almost a good counter against Afanis, especially since it does play a lot of draw with the magical trainings and Baba Yagas, but I believe the current Afanis has played most of, if not all, their Baba Yagas earlier in the game. It is interesting, we can kind of see hands. It looks like the Waroo player is just setting down their hand, whereas the Afanis player is keeping it up. So it looks like we can kind of see an off you go in the Afanis player's hand. It might be potentially gonna target the Waroo. The Waroo's sleeping Quets. Yeah, there we go. Hopefully to reset the board state, I imagine. I think the Waroo only has 1 mana left, so there's very little plays as far as bureaucrats are concerned, other than a rare Frog Prince. So we got the end of the day there. The Faunus will advance 1, and it Looks like they draw it out on the companion side, I believe, or hero side. It's kind of hard to tell how they set it up. I assume it is the hero side, just based off of traditional placements. Be interesting to see what the Faunus decides to keep here. I think getting rid of the off you go is pretty indicative of what they have in their hand as far as having no spell return potentially. You can kind of see what's in their hand. It looks like it's potentially either a rare out of faction or some type of unique Spindle Harvester. Imagine it's probably it's the latter as far as a unique Spindle Harvester, because this is pretty common in the Aphanis decks. I think I can see some kind of yellow there, but not sure to be quite honest. We are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 8 mana at the very least between both of them. Yeah, 8 mana. It looks like they've both mana'd every single turn. Waroo is only 1 up and board state is reset, so it's not completely out of reach here for the Faunus. I think ideally they want to double advance here to put themselves adjacent and hopefully be able to pull off a one side. And as far as like the taking the final day, so we'll see how it turns out. Warrior player has 3 cards in hand, maybe, it looks like? I'm not sure. Yeah, and there's a unique Spindle Harvester. Obviously we don't know what it says because, yeah, I don't have that good of eyesight, and the camera isn't the best quality. So start with the Slept Legat from the reserve. Won't be able to target the Spindle Harvester. It looks like there's some questions as far as the unique Spindle Harvester and what it does. See another 2-tap here. So the unique Spindle Harvester is a 2-tap, and then it looks like there's another 2-tap unique Spindle Harvester. Gotta read what it does. I imagine it's gonna be pretty associated with the Spindle Harvesters that we've been seeing from unique Faunus decks, as far as something that's played and you get additional boosts based off of a spell being played or something to that effect. Yeah, Cole, I agree. It would be nice if it was a little bit better. I like the idea behind having the tumult on top, just so you can see it in a different aspect, and it's a little unique in that idea. But I think if they blew up the actual play screen, and they can even overlay the players' cameras on top of the play screen a little bit if they wanted to, instead of just having their own spaces. I understand the need of logo placement as well because of sponsors and everything, but there's definitely some room as far as like increase in the play space. So it looks like another off you go on the Quets. Probably a good idea, especially if they're intending to draw some more, which I feel like Aphanis does a lot, or realistically any Izmir hero does a lot. At the moment they are looking at 2-0ing like I mentioned, which is probably their ideal scenario. Still a good amount of mana left for the Waroo player. We'll see another Legat. Yeah, they do sleep it, so I think they're just accepting the 2-0 and just planning to double sabotage and hopefully reduce resources for the Aphanis player, especially those spells that are in the reserve. And I don't believe the Aphanis player has any spell return at this point, since they did get rid of the off you go from the previous day, when they were culling their reserve after the end of the turn. So I don't believe there's any spell return, so it means they're probably going to lose something here. They do support ability, the Flamel, or reduce costs here, and they have 3 mana left, so something that's worth Oh, so yeah, they're just gonna straight up use the off you go. May as well, otherwise it's just gonna get taken out by the sabotage. That makes sense. Yeah, I like the adventure track. I think it would be cool if if since they have that, if they did some other things as far as being able to have the cards ahead of time, especially with like submitted deck lists, and be able to overlay cards larger, especially the uniques. I think at this point, anyone that's watching knows what the basic cards do, but if they could get the uniques from the in-game client and just take the pictures and just overlay them, that would be as they come up, just like fade them in, fade them out. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, the Aphanis gets the 2-0. As I mentioned at the start of the day, is probably their ideal scenario because now they're adjacent and they can probably try to overload one side and force the Waroo player not to sleep anything at this point. I believe the Waroo player has played at least one or two Robin Hoods right now. Yeah, it does seem like a bit odd. I mean, for the amount of players that they have, I think you need something quite large. I don't know if it's since it's run by like a game store. I think they probably just have like large warehouse places for these to be done instead of like a convention center kind of thing. Which would also be cool, especially for like future developer supported events. But yeah, so I think the war is in a pretty tough spot. Empty reserve. I'm pretty sure they have limited cards in their hand at this point. I think it may be only 2 to 3. Um, and they're deciding on their token placement from the Waroo effect, which a lot of people seem to ignore as far as like the importance of that. But token placement from Waroo is quite important. We do see a unique Robin Hood pop out. I have to imagine it's pretty good in order to take the rare Robin Hood slot. I assume it's probably a cards effect. Um, it doesn't look like it's being slept, which makes sense because they need the stats, and then they just small step for the easy W for the Aphanis. Probably had it in hand for a bit, and yeah, GG's. Most anticlimactic way to win the game, but you know, you do what you can against Waroo. 7 cost small step, I assume, unless it's a double tax Waroo, which it very well could be, but I doubt it's a double card tax. Thanks for anyone that's joining, by the way. If anyone is interested in jumping in to a Discord and giving me a little bit of commentary of the stream, just let me know. I'll invite you and we can talk a bit rather than me just talking all by myself. I don't mind hearing my own voice, but I also enjoy talking to other people on occasion. Let me know if there's any issues with the volume of the stream or anything like that. I'm currently muting the French side of things. It looks like they'll probably have a little bit of a break. I assume this is best of 3 for the top, but seems I think that was only one game, so maybe it's not. It is currently what 6 p.m. over there, I believe. So it looks like this top 16 is going on all at the same time. We saw one of the sets, so we'll see the top 8 here pretty soon. The Aphanis took it, Cole. They were able to 2-0 on the previous day to go adjacent to each other, and although the Waroo played a unique Robin Hood that I assumed was quite nice, the Aphanis just had a small step and was able to win right away. And if we're looking at the stream, see here what's going on. They're probably going to take a break, I imagine. And if they do, I may as well, but we'll see. Yeah, Ysmir in general has been ranking up a little bit. Everyone likes the new meta of the stalling Navenka, and I think Faunus has always been pretty good. It's a fairly simple deck list, I think. It's just dependent on how you play it and who you boost and everything like that. So. And I believe there was a Subhash in the top cut as well, just by looking through social media and everything and the French Discord. So we might get to see that. We'll see if they made it to the top 8. Impressive if it is. I do like Subhash, but I don't think it's the best Axiom hero at this point, but who knows, maybe they found a different meta for it. It's interesting, these Ludotrotter streams. Seems like they have like a base setup for it. That's fine, but I'll be curious to see how the developers take these early streams, especially from the EU side of things, and use that as far as like official tournaments start happening next year, I believe. Let's look. So I could post this on other Discords if other people want to see. Alright, is there a content sharing part for that? Let me see if I can pull up my link for the stream. Just post it. Content sharing. Copy link. Post it to a few other places so that if people are interested, they can. Okay, we got at least one other person jumping in. Again, we're waiting a little bit for top 8. They're chatting it up at the moment. First top 16 match that we saw, it was a Waroo versus an Faunus. The Faunus went up early, as we would expect with the sleeping of the Waroo characters, but then Waroo did start getting ahead by at least 2 spaces on the Tumult. But Faunus was able to reset the board, remove a bureaucrat with an off you go, so they were not able to get tokens for the following day, and we saw a 2-0 for the Faunus player to go adjacent on the Tumult, and by doing that was able to immediately play a small step the following turn and auto win. Oh, it looks like we'll have like a little bit of an interview from the Faunus player that's popping up here. Just going over things in general. I do have some knowledge of French, but I will not be able to translate word for word for all y'all. But soon. Pop it into your Google Translate. And turn the volume on so y'all can hear.
Présentation du jeu, ça devait être en janvier. Et en fait, le Kickstarter arrive en février et j'ai commencé à regarder un peu et j'ai trouvé tout le concept autour qui était génial. Et en fait, dès que j'ai testé le gameplay, c'est terminé quoi. Je suis joueuse de Magic à la base.
Ouais.
Et
j'ai précisé en stream que si tu joues aussi à Fanas, c'est que dans Magic, t'aimais bien cet aspect un petit peu
ouais,
de jouer
ça.
des petits spells et tout.
C'est ça, de la synergie, une synergie très forte, autour d'une synergie très forte, moi ça me plaît. Et puis à Fanas, je trouve que quand on est dans un gros open comme ça.
Est-ce que tu peux parler un peu plus fort peut-être?
Ouais, quand on est dans un gros tournoi comme ça, je trouve que c'est un deck qui offre beaucoup de possibilités. Dans les parties, faut qu'on ait un peu de pioche, on peut voir beaucoup de cartes.
Sera mieux. Ah d'accord. Ah oui, c'est que sur les côtés.
C'est ça.
Ah oui.
Le son sera meilleur.
Ok, ça marche.
Tu peux peut-être.
Non, je t'en prie.
Du coup, c'est le deck qui me plaît le plus au niveau du gameplay.
Et alors nous, quand on a regardé un petit peu la game, il y a un moment où on s'est dit, oh là là, c'est compliqué pour toi.
Ouais.
C'est ce moment où tu as essayé de placer les deux champignons du même côté,
ouais.
et où malheureusement des drops 1 sont arrivés pour te mettre en difficulté.
En fait, j'y ai pensé.
Voilà.
Je me suis dit, ok, c'est Troupière ou c'est
le roi grenouille.
Mais dans les deux cas, voilà, dans les deux cas, j'étais fini. Donc,
Ouais.
je me suis dit, bon, bah, foutu pour foutu, allons-y, mettons un peu de setup pour le tour d'après.
Alors, attendez.
Honestly, it's making it really difficult because it
Pardon le
seems
chat.
like my mic is not picking up quite well.
Il faut pas hésiter à se mettre.
Ça a été le moment compliqué.
Je vais manger le micro.
Voilà. Ça a été le moment compliqué, et à partir de là, quand tu es du coup mené 2-0 par Waroo, un moment où on se dit, nous, de notre point de vue, on se dit, mais comment est-ce qu'elle va s'en sortir? Qu'est-ce que tu t'es dit, qu'est-ce que tu t'es mis en tête pour te dire, je vais l'emporter, et c'est de cette manière-là que je vais la gagner?
Ouais, à vrai dire, oui, je me suis dit, il faut qu'il ait. S'il continue à avoir du gaz, s'il me ressort le Robin au moment où il est sur le play, et là, à mon avis, la game est terminée. Je me suis dit, il va falloir avoir un peu de chance, et j'ai eu un peu de chance. J'ai eu de la chance 2 fois. J'ai eu de la chance sur le fait qu'il puisse pas se reset-up derrière, ou alors qu'il engorne trop de persos. Je sais pas dire, je suis pas spécialiste de Waroo, mais je sais pas ce que vous en penserez, vous, le chat et tout le monde.
Le chat avait un avis très tranché sur Waroo.
Kind of just going over the reasonings for picking things as far as like a fondness between Waroo and the matchup overall, but seems like they have the mic stuff fixed. Maybe they're asking, and they're gonna continue here. But yeah, I'll pause real quick.
Pour moi, c'était très difficile de la gagner celle-là, et j'ai eu un peu de chance, et bon, j'ai joué jusqu'au bout et ça a payé. Voilà, il en faut un peu aussi dans les gros tournois.
C'est top alors. C'est top parce qu'on en parlait tout à l'heure, les représentants d'Afanas, il n'y en a pas tant que ça. Vous êtes 2 en top 8. Plus largement, vous êtes quasiment une petite dizaine sur le top 120. Donc c'est bien de vous voir avancer. Toi, on met Waroo de côté, quels sont les match-ups que tu aimes bien affronter? S'il y a 3 héros très joués que tu croises, c'est lesquels les match-ups que tu vas absolument te battre? Je
ne saurais pas trop dire, mais à chaque fois que j'ai affronté un Kojo, ça s'est plutôt bien passé. Donc j'aime bien Kojo. Fen, c'est pas dégueu en général. Je m'en sors plutôt bien.
But yeah, I don't know if this is helpful for any of you, because obviously if you knew French, you would just watch the actual stream. But yeah, it looks like they're starting to reset and get ready for the top 8. But yeah, overall idea of the conversation is just going over the ideas behind everything between Waroo versus Afanis, why they're picking Afanis, and so on. So yeah, congratulations to the Afanis player there for beating one of the Waroos and advancing into the top 8. I imagine it looks like they're probably going to start here pretty soon. Before they were taking breaks, but it looks like they're just kind of trying to move forward. I think they are at like 6:30 p.m. over there, so makes sense. We'll see where it goes. On in Discord. Alright, yeah, interesting amount of folks as far as like the breakdown. What's interesting to me the most is that it seems like there's not as many Finn and Crowbars, when it feels like that was the next hero up as far as right behind the Waroos, just based off consistency and the matchup. But it seems like that meta is potentially dying down a little bit just from the online tournaments and from what I've been seeing from the breakdowns of the top cut, but not sure what the reasoning behind that would be. Maybe folks are finding out the general idea behind how to beat the Finn, or the Finn doesn't feel as good in other matchups, but or there's just other heroes that folks want to feel at better things. Yeah. It could just be a better tech thing. So makes sense. So it looks like they're figuring this out here, but like it's always weird to me the tumult setup and how different people do it, because obviously you can't sleeve them because then people will know what sides are on which, but that means you typically have to have things unsleeved. Oh, this will be an interesting matchup. We have the Sigmar versus the Subhash in the top 8, so the Subhash made it to the top 8. Yeah, Aponis is a good counter to everything that's currently meta at the moment. But I don't think Finn is still bad. It just seems like it's just falling off as far as the general want of people to make it. I'd be interested to see what the overall breakdown is. I think I saw something on social media as far as overall breakdown of the tournament as a whole. I don't remember the exact statistics of it. I could probably take a look at it, but see how much Finn we actually saw. Because at a certain point we saw a lot of Finn just in online tournaments to advance things. Here, I'm gonna pull it up on my phone. Breakdown is 29% Ortis, 18% Lyra, so 15% of it was of the 18% was Finn. So there's still a good amount of Finn, because that matches what the percentages that we're seeing from Sigmar and Waroo as far as the entry into the event. Granted, this isn't the full breakdown, but it's a good representative sample. But this will be a fun match to watch. I'm a big fan of Sigmar in general, and I'm interested to see where the Subhash goes with this. Let me see if I can actually post on Twitter this link, see if Ludotrotter decides to tell me to stop streaming or not. Doing some setup still, so I'm gonna do that real quick and see if I can Yeah, Cole, it's pretty wild. I don't think I would have expected to see this into the top 16, let alone the top 8. Let's see here. I'm gonna at Ludotrotter on Twitter and see if, because they liked my previous tweet, and see if they get upset that I'm restreaming this or not. No, I'm calling it Subhash. I don't care. You can say I'm wrong, but I don't care. Yeah, I imagine they'll do their little post again, and then I imagine we'll see another write-up on the Altered breakdown. It seems like they're working pretty closely with Ludotrotter. Streaming current. That's the event. There's some English commentary. Oh. Yeah, no worries, Cole. I probably mispronounce a lot of things associated with this game, but you know, that's just me being an ignorant American, apparently. I'll own that. Still some setup going on here. At least they do have the names for most of the players now instead of just their characters. So it looks like it's Caleb and Tito. Let's see the breakdown of their Swiss. Caleb was 7-1-1 with the Subhash, and the Sigmar player was 7-1-1 as well, and they were ranked 12 and 13 respectively. Yeah, I didn't know that Subhash had a good matchup into Waroo, so that makes sense if they made it this far because of that. Honestly, I haven't seen a lot of the hero in general. I think I saw a few people try to play it initially on like release, and then got kind of turned away from it because you have to pay the mana to activate the effect. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see those matchups in general. Yeah, do they run Hive or not? It's interesting because you think, I remember when Axiom initially started, I felt like you had to run Hive in any Axiom deck, but then obviously that isn't the case. And obviously if you're running Hive, you're running Rare Hive, which means you're taking up 3 rare slots, which I'd be interested to see if how much that matters, because I know when I'm running Traced, those rare slots are kind of valuable, so I'm not sure how that would work for the Subhash. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Bravos-based heroes that you feel like you're always running low a little bit in resources. But I mean, I think there's a good idea behind the hero. I don't think it's bad in comparison to some other heroes. So. Zero rare Bravos Bastions? Cool. Just buy more Kickstarter boxes. Easy fix. We're going for premium cost right now. So they're finally starting? It's funny that the Subhash is just throwing a bunch of tokens out initially, because that's what I do a lot of the times too. I usually put them like right behind the hero because I just get tired of like taking them out. So I just like throw them out and have them ready. But yeah, give you money, I'll get right on that. I found a place locally, someone locally that was selling Kickstarter boxes for 120 US dollars. So although I didn't need them, I still got them anyway. Because I mean, $120 Kickstarter box, like sign me up. That, and I found like a store that was selling retails for $65. So again, I don't need more cards. I do have a full playset already, but I can't say no to a good deal. So it looks like we finally are starting. Sig is going first. We see the hero effect from the Subhash get played, and then the noon effect, and then they'll put the Dr. Frankenstein in the reserve. And interesting enough, that is a common Dr. Frankenstein, which you don't see a lot of. Is that a common? I believe that's a common. Which you don't see a lot of. But we will see the immediate sabotage, so he can't play it for 2 cost. Is that 2 cost or is it 3 cost? It's 3 cost as a common, isn't it? Still gonna sabotage it. Yeah, you don't see a lot of common Frankenstein, but we do see the rare Barbaros Incaster to stall out the companion side and advance on the hero side. Yeah, it is 3 cost. That's what I thought. Yeah, it's I don't see it that often, so I just didn't remember if it was 2 or 3 cost. Yeah, I think that's why he was kind of trying to decide if he wanted to sabotage it or not. But I think he was just assuming that there's a reason why he put it in the reserve. That was probably his play, is to be able to just return it for some reason, but we'll see. So what's interesting about these matches is that it seems like they're going a little bit faster based off of the rounds of 16 compared to the Andres event. But I'll be curious to see how, if anyone from the event is able to tell us how fast matches were generally running, because I know it's been best of ones. I'm not sure if they're best of threes now. I thought they saw a post that said top cut would be best of threes. Maybe it's just top 8, but so we see noon. Don't see the Subhash effect coming from Caleb. And they'll just go ahead and play the Incaster from reserve right away. Interesting. Probably doesn't have anything in hand that he feels like is worth throwing down to reserve. I'm trying to see what he has there. It looks like he has a Vanguard and a unique Martingale. So an out of faction Vanguard and a unique Martingale. So I don't know if there's any worthwhile reserve effect there for him, but it's probably why they don't care to use the effect. So they have the unique Martingale played, which was a 2-cost Martingale, so that's probably why they didn't want to use the effect, because they wanted to play the 2 and 2. It's anyone's guess what that is. Yeah, is there, what have you seen from unique Martingales that's common in this list? Because I honestly have no clue what could be possible here. Yeah, it makes sense if it is a hive list though, but especially if they're running a common Frankenstein potentially, because maybe they are just running low on rare slots and they're running the 3 rares, 3 rare hives. So they're still stalled out on the companion side, and they're even on the hero side at this point, so they've just traded between the first 2 days. I'll be curious to see how this matchup works. I have to imagine the Sigmar has probably wanted to be more ahead at this point, especially with the Subhash not using the hero effect on the second day, but they all have cost reduction, or like 90% of them do. Usually they have an effect that triggers on token enter. Okay. Yeah, reduced cost effect would be ideal for the Subhash deck, especially if you're using 1 cost for the noon. It looks like he's not using it again on the 3rd day here, so he has to have another play in hand where he has to use all his mana. So using the unique, uh, 2 cards in hand, using a 3 cost here, I imagine this is going to be a Vanguard play, based off of what we remember, just to remove the fleeting. Yeah, Vanguard play, removes the fleeting, and probably going to advance on the hero side. Gives it a boost. And it looks like they're just going to swap advances between hero and companion. Yeah, they're advancing companion side while the Sigmar is advancing hero. Thanks for everyone that's joining, by the way. If anyone is interested in doing some commentary, feel free to let me know, and I can get you invited to a Discord. And you can give me opinions, rather than just hearing my wonderful opinion. I do like these playmats that they're playing with currently. They seem pretty fun. Oh, so it has an Incaster effect? Oh, that would make sense if he just returned the Vanguard. So they're finding ways to loop other characters. I know there's a loopable jelly in Axiom, but it's interesting that you can see something for on the Martingale as well. So he's finally deciding to use the Subhash effect. I believe this is turn 4. He used it the first turn, but not the next 2 days, and is using it to put the Amelia Earhart in reserve. Playing the Martingale again, does have 3 more mana, so I have to imagine that he's ready to play the Vanguard again. Potentially just to loop the Martingale one more time. It's a good curve for it. Interesting that he decided to play it on the hero side. I assume I can't look at the stats. It is probably just a 2/2/2 that you mentioned. And maybe he just felt more comfortable advancing on something with the grasp, especially playing the Vanguard. So we see a unique Foundry, out of faction Foundry card. I'm not sure what it's doing, but the ones I've seen can do a variety of things, whether producing more tokens or doing different things like that, or reducing permanent costs from just the play, but looks like it has a decent amount of text. Yeah, that makes sense. That would be interesting though if the Martingale did have Defender. I haven't seen a lot of Defender text come from uniques as like a separate attribute. I wonder if that's part of the algorithm or not. Okay, so is saving to play the Vanguard on the companion side, removing it from the Martingale as we expected. Yeah, I'd be interested to see if like that does exist. Like I just haven't seen it, or people just don't value Defender, to be honest. But who knows? You'd think you would have seen it at some point if that was the case. So the Subhash is currently they're currently tied as far as like advancements are concerned. Although the Sigmar has not advanced out of the companion side, it looks like. Playing the rare trooper. Okay, so it looks like based off of that play, the Foundry unique, you get to produce a token every single time you play a non-token in its expedition, potentially. And I'd be curious to see if it's you're able to produce a target token or if it automatically goes to the hero side, which I think it's probably the hero side, but we just produced another token as well. So maybe it's anytime you play a non-token character, you produce a token on the hero side. Yeah, it seems like based off of the Baba play, the unique is anytime he plays a non-hero, a non-token character in his expeditions, he produces a token on the hero side. So that's a fun unique. Especially useful for Sigmar. It's going to help him double advance at that point. Or is he? No, he just single advanced. And he tied on the hero side. Obviously could be stronger if he lets you do target expedition, but I'm sure he's not complaining having the hero side. Looking like they're deciding what they want to keep on the reserve side of things. Yeah, he's getting rid of the Martingale. He's tired of seeing it again. In this way, he knows the play that's available to him that he potentially can't do it. It looks like he has 2 cards in hand at this point as far as the Subhash is concerned. So options that are surprises are going to be limited. Yeah, hooked in Caster Vanguard. I imagine it's the rare hooked is what I remember him keeping on turn 1. So they're stacking on the hero side again. The Sig is up 1 space on the Tumult. Oh, it is a common? Hooked? Okay. I thought I saw a rare one earlier, but maybe it is just a common. I think I actually prefer the rare, just to be able to have draw, but I guess it just depends on how you're playing. Either way, the hooked would be potentially helpful here, especially with the idea of the unique effect only applying to the hero side. So he could pretty much guarantee an advancement on the companion side if he plays it correctly. Yeah, so it is a common hooked, and he's hooking it to the hero side, and so now he pretty much knows a lot of things are going to go to the hero side. He does have a trooper still available for the companion side if he wants to play it, but he can also still just play the hooked again. He's down to 2 mana, so he can still play the trooper. Let's see. I'm trying to decide. Yeah, he is going to play the trooper, it looks like, 1 cost. And is he going to try to keep it on the hero side, or is he just going to guarantee? Yeah, he's going to guarantee it on the hero side, be able to produce another token. Okay, so he did play the token on the companion side, so it makes me think that it is target expedition. They're trying to show us the the unique, but it's super blurry, so you're not going to be able to see it. But it seems based off that play, it is target expedition. Or oh, it could be just the opposite expedition. No, it could be the opposite instead of target, because he played way too many on the hero side last time. It may be opposite, similar to like a rare gatekeeper. But yeah, interesting unique. I think I like the idea of it being the opposite expedition opposed to just the hero expedition. Either way, you can play around what you need to play. Obviously, target would be better, but I don't think it is target. I think it is most likely opposite expedition. Stacking up stats, he has 1 cost, 1 mana left. The Subhash is tapped out. He is going to get the companion side. Question is does he have a 1 cost to play on the hero side? Which it seems like he does. He's deciding if he wants to play it or not. Currently deciding if he wants to advance on Mountain. This is all just a fake out, and he doesn't have a 1 cost, but he does have another trooper, and he's gonna play it. So it's an interesting, unique effect, because yeah, it is obviously opposite at this point. Looks like the decision was if he wants to use the 1-cost trooper, even though the Subhash was still going to advance, just to advance himself. So he decides to do that and gets the 2-1. So they both have 1 card in hand at this point, on the draw for the next day. The Subhash decides to immediately resource. They are up to 7 mana at this point, manning into 8 potentially. With the amount of low-cost items that the Sigmar has, I'd be curious to see if they are going to resource here or not. An Ogun, yeah. Looks like a common Ogun too, right? Doesn't look like a rare. Yeah, it is a common Ogun. So he's activating his effect, playing it to the companion side. Starting off with the Inkcaster. Yeah, he's got green both sides, and I think the Siggy has the companion side at green and mountain brown. Did the Siggy end up resourcing that turn? I don't think they did. Yeah, they still have 3 cards in hand, so they didn't resource. So it seems like there's a concerted effort by the Subhash player to keep on recycling their cards, removing fleeting with the Vanguard, just so that way they're not running out of resources. We do see the Spy from reserve, saving 4 mana at this point for cards in hand. We'll see the Ogun played to boost up the robots. And Ogun would be fleeting. And it looks like they had the judge point out that he has to make the Ogun fleeting. Interestingly enough, you see the Sigmar player automatically putting fleeting on all the cards in reserve, which I've always thought about doing, but I guess it just depends. Just so you don't forget, because a lot of times I know I end up forgetting, and I have to remember at the end of the turn that, oh yeah, this was fleeting. But yeah. Yeah, a lot of stats on board for the Siggy. I think they kind of used a lot of what they had with that unique last turn to double advance, and that was probably why it was a difficult decision on whether they were going to use the trooper or not. We'll see. Yeah, 4 in mountain. Main thing I'll be interested in is after this game is if they decide if it is best of 3. See a following game or not, but Subhash stretching, nothing in hand, no mana left, so they're just kind of seeing what's left to play. It looks like we see a Rune Scribe, in the hand of the Sigmar player. I can't tell what the other cards are. Maybe a Frog Prince? It looks like they're about to play Runescribe, I think. Oh, nope, it's a Frog Prince. Okay. Yeah. 2 costs Frog Prince, and then there's the Runescribe that I was mentioning. And it is a common Runescribe, which is interesting as well. I've seen a lot of Siggies use the rare Runescribe just for resources, but haven't seen a lot of commons. But it's not a bad card for 2 costs, 2 stats across the board. So yeah, that'll be enough for them to get an advance to go adjacent, which I believe puts them in a fairly decent position. Looks like they are in green brown on the companion side and blue brown on the hero side. Yeah, he had 4 because he used 3 initially, 2 for the spy from reserve and 1 for the trooper. He played both reserved characters, and because he didn't mana that turn, he only had 7 opposed to 8 mana, and so he had 4 mana left. It looks like he decided not to resource again, because he still has 7 mana up and 3 cards in hand. So it seems like his curve is letting him play around like 7-8 mana, which makes sense. He's got another unique Martingale, a Vanguard, and he's going to resource that card that I think you mentioned. So he has 9 mana up. Should be able to play just about everything. We'll see what that Martingale does. Taking a look at the unique Martingale, I imagine it's probably similar to the previous one where it has a Inkcaster related effect. Unique's playing for a lot of like cycling. He's had that Inkcaster out since turn 1, I believe. He's played 2 spies already though, I believe, so I don't know if he has a third. As far as the Siggy having another spy available to them. Unless they're running a jammer, which I doubt. It doesn't look like they're running permanents. Subhash is currently 2 tumult spots behind, just gonna play the pseudo after you with the Amelia Earhart. Another reserve play from the Siggy. I'm just trying to keep everything in hand as a backup. Unique Artist Cadet, you said? I don't know, he's covering up his hand pretty well. It's like 1 unique, 2 commons in hand. Gonna play the unique here, it looks like. Find out. Yeah, it looks like a cadets. I imagine it'll probably be similar to the Foundry unique, where they produce tokens by playing non-token characters, but let's see. The 2 costs. Here it is. It is cadets. Yeah, it looks like it removes fleeting. It didn't give a boost though, as far as the unique martingale effect. Obviously, there's a lot of outs for it to have made it this far. He's playing that. Okay, he's boosting. So it looks like the cadets has a charge effect by putting a card from hand to reserve. So it's not token generation, but I imagine it has some token generation, but it looks like it definitely does the charge effect for hand to reserve. Yeah. See the Inkcaster come out again. Subhash has 3 mana left. See the rare Paper Herald. He's gonna Vanguard to boosts. Remove for fleeting and boost, I believe. So they're doing a stat check here and seeing if he can block everything. I don't know offhand if he is able to. Imagine it's gonna be pretty difficult. I don't know the stats on the unique cadet, but seems like they both just went all out with everything they had in hand. So so he is able to stall him. He is able to stall him even with the unique effect. Yeah, he was able to block, get the advance, and now they'll both have full reserves, but 0 in hand, so it'll be interesting to see what they can do here. It looks like the cadet's effect is a from anywhere effect though. Can't tell in general. He's taking another look at the hero at the effect to see what else that he's gonna do. Maybe it's when he leaves the expedition he gets a token. No, it's nothing. Okay. Yeah, Subhash will get the Vanguard back in hand, so they will have the hand advantage, I believe. They also have mana advantage. The Sigmar hasn't mana'd for the last 2 turns. Yeah, Inkcaster brings back the Vanguard. The Inkcaster has been out basically since day 1, and he is resourcing again, so he will have a 3 mana advantage if the Sigmar decides not to resource here. Which he may not, because he only has 2 cards in hand and 2 cards in the reserve, and he may want to keep everything. He does have the Ozma in the reserve to try to potentially draw, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get 3 cards or 3 characters out in order to do that. Oh yeah, you're right. There's the Tinkerbell, and he's got turn 1 play, and he's going to be able to take out the cadets. Yeah, good play. That's probably why he was checking, to see what it did, to see if he wanted to sabotage it or get the resource from the Ozma. I would be interested to see if the Subhash does run any permanents though, because we haven't seen a Hive or the Bravos Bastion out of faction. And that's good because on hero side he is on the brown mountain side. We do see an out of faction warrior for the Siggy, just good stats all around. He'll be 2/2/2 up on that side. I think at this point he's probably just going to overload so that Amelia will tie things up. See the last card in hand. It's a unique Alchemist. Yeah, unique Alchemist. I'm not sure what it does. Probably token generation. It looks like it has 2 effects. I can't tell if it's from anywhere or from hand. And he also decided not to resource again this turn, so he does only have 1 mana and he won't be able to play Ozma. So it looks like it produces 2 tokens on their side and charges. So the Alchemist, 2 tokens and charges. That's nuts. I don't know the stats on the Alchemist. But he at least has 4, 8, 9 across the board, potentially more. It'll be close, because he's on green-brown there. God, this glare is horrible. What the hell is happening? It looks like with stat check he has it. Yeah, the 10 green for Subhash. It just depends on what the Alchemist is at. We know he has at least 9 as far as total for the spy. Did he block? Is the Alchemist only at a 1? Yeah, he advances. Yeah, he advances. Yeah, GG. Okay, so he had at least had something on there. They at least had 1 or 2 on the Alchemist. And they're picking up, so this is just best of 1. Interesting. I thought they were going to do best of 3s for the top cut. Unfortunate. But yeah, good game. Sad to see the Subhash go, but amazing uniques from the Sigmar. They had 1 that had token generation, and 2 that were able to add a charge effect. You can see my amazing editing as it's happening. I'm gonna be right back as they're getting set up for, I believe, top 4 at this point. And then we'll get right back to it. In the meantime, you can listen to the French or wait for me to keep talking again. Thanks for anyone that's coming by. If you do feel like commentating with me, just let me know in chat or on Discord, and I'll get you added and hear some opinions. It'd be cool to have someone for the finals or top 4 or anything realistically. Wait, are they playing again? What are they doing? Well, maybe they're swapping cards. They're unsleeving at this point? Interesting. Anyway, be right back.
Non, mais la carte, elle existe d'une façon où actuellement ça nous paraît super bizarre, mais il y a carrément une logique de gameplay derrière en fait.
Oui.
Et donc c'est aussi super intéressant d'essayer de décoder ce qui pourrait arriver avec ce qu'on a. Et donc, carrément, j'ai vraiment hâte. Je mise beaucoup d'espoir sur Gulrang. J'y ai passé beaucoup de temps. J'espère que Gulrang va avoir de bons outils. Et bon, après, forcément, les permanents d'expédition donnent beaucoup d'espoir. Mais beaucoup d'espoir en Gulrang.
Ah bah, Gulrang, il est dans le visuel de Frost, hein, le visuel qui a été partagé. On voit Gulrang dessus. Est-ce que ça l'indique? Je ne sais pas.
Clairement.
Alors malheureusement, moi je n'ai pas l'info sur les dates à laquelle on pourra faire imprimer nos cartes. Je pense que ça va finir par arriver. Ça devrait, ça ne devrait plus trop traîner non plus. Est-ce que peut-être en régie, est-ce qu'on peut repasser en caméra commentateur, s'il vous plaît? Et comme ça, nous, on va pouvoir vous faire gagner du coup le premier cadeau. Le premier cadeau de la soirée. Il y en aura un autre évidemment juste avant la finale. Hop. Mais bien sûr, oui, le nombre de bonnes uniques va augmenter avec le temps, évidemment.
Oui, clairement. Et aussi, il faut garder en tête que pour l'instant, une grosse partie de la data que nous, on peut avoir en tant que joueur, c'est notamment en regardant les decklists des top 16 et top 8 des tournois qui sont à disposition. Mais il faut bien comprendre que ça reste un TCG. La variance est assez importante, particulièrement dans un système de ronde suisse. Et il y a énormément de decklists très intéressantes qu'on ne voit même pas encore parce qu'elles ne passent pas les top 16, pas forcément parce qu'elles n'ont pas le potentiel d'eux, mais juste parce que la variance d'un TCG fait que c'est pas forcément possible.
Un absent du top 16 là, qui a fini aux portes du top 16 d'Angers et qui a gagné un gros tournoi à Lyon, c'est le fameux Kojo Fonderie. Je sais qu'il était encore présent au tournoi et qu'il était bien classé. Ça, typiquement, c'est une decklist qui passe très très peu en stream et qui pourtant est un vrai contender de la méta. Et on suppose que lui va gagner en puissance quand il sera mieux connu.
Clairement. Et d'accord, ok. Ok, on a. Ok, donc on a le top 4. Donc le top 4, c'est un Waroo et un Sigmar contre Waroo. Bon, ça va faire chanter les détracteurs de Hordis. Mais voilà, et donc du coup, on va rester sur Titou et son Sigmar qui va affronter du coup un des 3 Waroo de ce top 4. Non, également un autre deck aussi très intéressant qui a été présent du coup aujourd'hui et qui s'est arrêté aux portes du top 16 parce qu'il a perdu contre Caleb. C'est Neuro, le gagnant de Angers, qui est venu avec un deck Akesha. C'est ça, hein, c'est Akesha qui lance les dés. Un deck Akesha et qui est franchement très très bon. Et c'est pas le seul que j'ai. Moi, j'en ai vu d'autres aujourd'hui. Il y a plusieurs Akesha qui clairement commencent à comprendre le potentiel. Et je sais qu'il y en a beaucoup qui parlent des uniques Akesha qui ancrent quand on lance des dés. Mais honnêtement, il y en a plein d'autres qui sont très intéressantes.
Tu dis Akesha, mais c'est pas Akesha, c'est Nevenka.
Nevenka, pardon, Nevenka, pas Akesha.
Nevenka, donc l'héroïne Lyra qui lance des dés.
Ce sera Waroo, ok, très bien. Ce sera du coup Waroo pour ce match de top 4 diffusé.
Oui, Nevenka, c'est un bel exemple parce qu'ils ne sont pas un à être bien classés, ils sont 3 Nevenka à être bien classés à ce tournoi-là. Okay. Alors que pourtant, dans la salle, ils ne devaient pas être tellement plus que 3. Et ça va inspirer, je pense, pas mal de joueurs.
Oui. Et pour le coup, c'est une certitude. Je pense que Nevenka, sachant que je joue Fen, j'ai regardé beaucoup d'uniques Lyra. Il y a énormément d'uniques qui permettent de renforcer un jeu Nevenka. Il y a les uniques qui ont l'effet martingale rare, qui protègent le lancer de dés. Il y a les uniques qui, du coup, comme j'ai dit, ancrent sur les lancers de dés. Il y a des uniques qui enlèvent des fugaces sur des lancers de dés. Donc ça aussi, ça protège en fait au final ton lancer de dés. Parce que même si tu fais un 1, au pire des cas, tu récupères la carte en réserve. C'est pas si grave.
Ça là, j'en ai une d'unique qui récupère des cartes de lancer de dés. Elle est vraiment puissante.
Il y a des uniques qui remontent des cartes de ta réserve sur des lancers de dés. Enfin, il y a vraiment beaucoup de choses très intéressantes pour stabiliser des decks Nevenka en unique. Et honnêtement, même sans unique, il y a des listes Nevenka qui ont un bon bout de potentiel. ou en tout cas qui peuvent faire des choses. Alors évidemment, ça ne sera pas aussi stable que Waroo.
C'est le moins qu'on puisse dire.
Mais ça a du potentiel,
Moi, j'ai toujours le problème de Nevenka. Alors, les gens vont me dire, oui, c'est quand tu chopes un 1 sur les 6. Mais le problème, c'est que souvent, les joueurs de Nevenka, ils acceptent l'idée de se prendre un 1 sur une game. En revanche, c'est quand ils ont plusieurs 1 sur une même game que là, ils peuvent les perdre tout seuls.
Oui.
Ce qui est arrivé à Neuro, il a perdu 2 games. La première des 2 perdues, c'est sur un double 1 qui lui coûte la victoire et donc potentiellement la place en top 16.
Oui, bah c'est le jeu. Hein. Faut pas oublier quand on joue Nevenka, les joueurs de Nevenka, vous les entendrez toujours parler de la fois où ils ont fait double 1.
Ouais.
Par contre, la fois où ils ont fait double 6, ils en parleront jamais, il n'y a pas de problème.
Nevenka, c'est un héros où, dans le design, on a vraiment eu envie qu'elle soit instable.
Oui.
Ça faisait partie de l'ADN. Même s'il y avait Martingale, même si on savait que les uniques pouvaient permettre un petit peu d'aider, le permanent, mais qui n'est pas très joué, Ouroboros aussi pour aider les dés, on a fait en sorte que le deck ne soit pas stable. Parce que c'est l'esprit du deck, et c'est sûrement aussi pour ça que beaucoup de joueurs vont vouloir le jouer. Là, aujourd'hui, on a 3 joueurs compétitifs. Les joueurs qui l'ont ramené ici étaient compétitifs. Mais la majorité des joueurs qui, sur leur cuisine, le vendredi, en boutique ou ici, jouent Nevenka, c'est avant tout pour le frisson du lancer du jeu de dés.
Oui,
c'est sur ça qu'on a amusé.
Ouais, c'est sûr. C'est l'identité du héros, donc ça aurait été bizarre de faire autrement.
Ouais.
Et il est très bien pensé pour ça. Tiens, j'en profite, moi ça me fait monter une question. J'ai
Alors,
oui,
pardon, je suis désolé. Parce que, en fait, en gros, j'étais plus trop là parce qu'il y avait un souci. Notre régie a eu un petit problème, mais visiblement, ça a redémarré. Voilà, donc il va pouvoir switcher. Et là, normalement, voilà, ça vibre dans ma poche. Ça doit être la confirmation. Tout est ok. Bon, alors c'est pas voilà. Alors je vais vérifier. À part, alors lui ne nous entend plus, mais normal. Je pense que.
Sachant que dans le chat, ça nous a
Ouais.
pas. Enfin, ça nous a rien dit. Je pense qu'on.
Voilà, le stream a redémarré, mais voilà, le son est toujours. Alors lui, la régie ne nous entend pas directement. Donc ce qu'on va faire, c'est qu'on va lancer dès maintenant, vite fait, un giveaway.
Okay,
je suis désolé parce qu'après ça va, ils vont démarrer.
Ouais,
donc les amis, hop là, c'est du coup le nouveau TCG Rise, d'accord. C'est voilà, c'est un TCG français. Il se lance aussi un peu, c'est un peu le même parcours qu'Altered. Avec évidemment, voilà, c'est pas les 3 000. Ils étaient là. Donc nous, on vous propose voilà, de gagner. Donc c'est des boosters de 10 cartes. C'est des versions françaises. Il faut savoir que du coup, c'est des boosters bêta. D'accord. Donc il y a encore voilà, des choses à venir. Mais du coup, c'est l'occasion de mettre les mains sur ce jeu. Et les cartes sont vraiment très très belles. Donc je recommande vivement. Donc je vais hop là, juste voir. Voilà, je vais juste lui dire qu'il peut lancer. Mais donc, on va vous faire gagner. En fait, c'est simple. Dès que vous verrez la notification dans le chat de la part de la régie, donc c'est le Wisebot qui le dira, il faudra mettre point d'exclamation curieux. CURIEUX. Pourquoi ? Parce que c'est le nom de ma communauté, les curieux. Bon, donc voilà. Et du coup, il y aura un tirage au sort parmi toutes les personnes qui auront mis le point d'exclamation curieux. Et l'un d'entre vous, on lui enverra du coup ce booster. Pour participer, il faut résider en France ou en Belgique. Et du coup, après, vous nous contactez et on vous envoie tout ça par la poste. Donc voilà, je vous laisse reprendre et j'envoie du coup toutes les informations en régie.
Excellent. Donc ouais, j'allais attaquer avec une question parce que moi j'ai une carte sur laquelle je me suis arraché les cheveux à essayer de comprendre l'idée derrière la carte. J'ai même pas le nom. Le permanent, même rare, Axiom, qui est 4, pioche une carte et après tu peux le fatiguer, payer 1, piocher une carte.
Oui, le cristal de je sais plus quoi.
Ouais, exactement. Donc la commune, j'en parle même pas tellement je la trouve catastrophique.
Ouais.
Elle est 5 de mana, fatigue, paye 2, pioche une carte. Sachant que dans le jeu, je pense qu'on peut estimer que la pioche a une valeur de 1,5 de mana au vu de ce qui se fait actuellement dans le jeu. Donc déjà de base, payer 2 pour piocher, c'est un peu une arnaque. Donc juste, en plus, tu dois payer 5 pour le permanent, ça me donne envie de mourir. Et donc du coup, même la rare fait pas tant de bien que ça. Et donc je suis très curieux d'avoir un peu une insight de ce qui se cache derrière cette carte.
Et du coup, au moment où tu dis le mot curieux, regarde le chat, ça y est, voilà, donc c'est lancé. Donc voilà, point. Alors ça, oui, je l'ai pas précisé, mais pour que ça fonctionne, il faut que vous ayez follow la chaîne Twitch Ludotrotter. Donc voilà, point d'exclamation curieux. Le bot vous attribue automatiquement un ticket. Si vous ne voyez pas votre pseudo avec le bot qui dit que vous recevez un ticket, ne vous inquiétez pas, c'est juste que lui-même, il évite de trop le mettre pour ne pas en fait, il s'auto-bloque concernant le flood, tout simplement. Donc point d'exclamation curieux, vous inquiétez pas, vous serez pris en compte. Et du coup, voilà, le tirage au sort d'ici quelques minutes, on annoncera du coup le vainqueur du premier booster Rise, voilà, qu'on enverra directement. La personne qui sera tirée au sort, vous aurez juste, en fait, vous allez voir, la régie vous mettra vous mettra en fait tout simplement un message GG avec votre pseudo. Vous cliquez sur Ludotrotter de ce message et vous faites chuchoter. Et en fait, vous chuchotez votre nom, votre prénom, votre pays, votre adresse exacte. Et voilà, et comme ça, nous, avec toutes ces informations,
Alright,
on
we
vous
back.
enverra directement le booster par la poste.
What happened?
C'est pour cette raison d'ailleurs que pour l'instant, on se limite à la France et à la
Doesn't look like they
Belgique.
went into another
Voilà,
game,
parce qu'on
so
on
it
sait que
is best
certaines
of
personnes
one,
nous
it looks
regardent
like.
souvent depuis le Québec, le Canada, tout ça. Et donc là, c'est vrai que c'est un peu plus
And we
compliqué.
got some French speaking currently. Sorry for the delay, everyone.
Je peux peut-être
Okay.
répondre à ta
Ouais,
question
c'est
entre temps.
On peut.
Il y a deux types
It's late,
de
right?
réponses possibles.
Shouldn't be reckless, right?
La première, c'est de dire que potentiellement, quand une carte paraît nulle, première option, parfois c'est parce que
So
le
it looks like
futur
they got
lui
another
réserve
interview
de
going
meilleur.
from one of the top.
Réponse facile, mais qui
four players.
ne nous aidera pas à aller plus loin parce que
Voilà.
je ne parlerai pas du futur.
J'imagine.
Deuxième
He's
type
wearing
de
a jersey
réponse.
too, so
Il y a aussi des
is
cartes
he,
qui sont
is he
plus moins
sponsored?
bonnes que les autres.
Et désolé, petite pause. Et c'est Kirin 4444, beaucoup de 4, qui remporte ce booster Rise. Toutes mes félicitations, Kirin, bravo à toi. Donc tu n'as plus qu'à cliquer sur voilà, Ludotrotter vient de te mettre un message, tu cliques dessus, tu fais chuchoter nom, prénom, adresse complète, n'oublie pas le pays au cas où. Et pardon, et du coup, toute l'équipe Ludotrotter voilà, te félicite et va t'envoyer du coup ce booster.
I guess I
Moi,
can
je
turn
prends
off
les
the be right
petites
back
infos
now.
en attendant.
Now that I'm here. But let's see here. Be
Du coup,
right
pour
back is.
enchaîner, certaines cartes sont aussi conçues pour être moins bonnes que les autres.
So yeah,
Ça, c'est aussi
interesting
pour
top
permettre
8
à un
match.
jeu
Happy we
s'appelle
were able to
524
see that
dans
with
le
the
set,
Sigismar
de pas
and
monter trop
the
vite en puissance.
Subhash.
Parce que sinon, si tout le
Subhash
monde était
decklist was
fort,
pretty
tous
interesting,
les decks seraient
but I
trop forts dès le
think
départ.
what won out the day
Volontairement,
was
il y a des cartes qui
basically
sont
the
designées pour être moins bonnes que les
Sigismar
autres,
uniques.
aussi pour mettre mieux en
They
relief
had,
les autres. Mais moi,
I
mon
believe it
travail,
was a
c'est pas de faire nickel.
Foundry
Et j'ai
armor.
une réponse plus spécifique pour Crystal Shard cette fois-ci.
Oh no, Foundry
Après
mechanic.
ces deux angles-là.
Sorry,
Ah, ok,
Foundry mechanic
j'adore
that
Crystal
had
Shard.
a
C'est
token
une
production
carte qui nous a posé pas mal
and
de problèmes
two
sur le
other cards, an
développement.
alchemist
Mis
and
là-dessus.
a cadet
Elle avait pas
that
mal
were
d'effets
able
un petit peu
to
différents.
either
Et elle, c'est
produce
un petit
tokens
peu
in charge
vers la fin qu'on s'est dit,
or
on
just
va
charge
faire
by
quelque chose de
itself.
machinatif.
So
Mais avant, elle
interesting.
faisait des choses.
So top four
C'est ce que je peux
um,
dire.
Ok,
looks like
ok.
they're
Une
already
des meilleures
started
Ok,
with
excellent.
at least
Et
one
du coup,
day.
voilà, le match,
This is the
voilà,
second
peut se
day.
lancer à
It's
présent.
a
Je rappelle
Waroo
également que
mirror.
du coup, il y aura
Surprise,
deux
surprise.
autres boosters à gagner juste avant la finale. Donc surtout, restez
Let me
parmi
go
nous,
and turn off the
ne
friends
serait-ce
real
que
quick.
pour la finale.
All right. Thanks again for anyone that's stopping by. Feel free to let me know if you are interested in jumping in for the stream. If not, feel free to keep on chatting it up and subscribing to my channel because I know you're already doing that. Appreciate it. New video out with interviews from the previous big tournament in EU, the Andres tournament. So take a look. We do have the Rare Robin Hood out from one of the Waroos. They don't have names up to the individual players here, or I would check their records going into things. And I don't know their faces in order to be able to tell you who they are. So, they do have the fancy Kickstarter hero and companion trackers, so that's fun. I believe we're going into day 3 here. Yeah, 5 mana. Interestingly enough, the Waroo on the right here is running the out of faction boundary mechanic, which makes me think they are running Bountiful Meadow, which we haven't seen a lot of in these in-person tournaments, although we've seen it a little bit online, top Waroo results. But yeah, interesting one cost using that opposed to the typical one cost of the troopers or the rare frog prints. Especially in Waroo, those rare slots are usually pretty valuable. So be curious to see if that lines up with wanting to have some type of permanent landmark for the uniques, or they have an better idea of what they want to do, or maybe they're even playing some other Ortis uniques that we might not see. So looks like they're putting the names up here. Amari for the right player. Let's take a look. Looking at the list. Do not see them here. Where's their record? Maybe they have a different name? keep looking. Maybe they entered it as a different name, to be honest, because I do not see them in the top 16 from the melee bracket. Let's take a look at the other person. Aruma. Well, I mean, realistically, unless it's the top 2 players, these players have either been 7-1-1, because in order to make top cut at top 16, minimum record was 7-1-1. We even saw a few players that had made Andr's top cut that didn't make it, including Neuro and Skycrier were both 7-2, so they just missed the cut. Anyway, lot happening here. We see an advancement from Amari, and they both have Frog Princes out in order to activate Waroo effect next turn. Hand-wise, it looks like the right Waroo player has hand advantage, and also has advantage on advancements on the Tumult. So it looks like they potentially might be ahead here. All important token placement from the Waroo effect happening here. Question is, will match it on the companion side? I hate keep on switching up the tumult between the companion and the hero, the left and the right, but whatever. Guess it doesn't matter. Decides to go on the hero side with his Frog Prince. Looks like he is trying to focus on advancing on that side potentially, or he has something in mind. Looks like they're both in Mountain on the companion side, and on the hero side, there are different setups for the biomes. We do immediately see the Robin Hood coming out from the reserve as the first turn player. Everything costs a little bit more now for him. Looks like he's holding 4 mana in hand here, so potentially a 3-cost play for both in reserve or something from hand. I was muted. Sorry, everyone. So basically, what I was saying is, now that they finally changed the names, we know both these players are 7-1-1. Their seeds were 15 and 7, I believe. And we also know the top Swiss player that was 9-0-0 is also in the top 4 at this point. So we know at least 3 Waroo players in the top 4, potentially a 4th, but I'd have to look through Discord a little bit more instead of talking to you nice folks. Apologies for the mute there. I forgot that I had muted myself. Anyway, we still have the Robin Hood out for Hirama. But Lucius does seem to have a general better board state, potentially, but we'll have to pay extra for everything that's coming out. Interesting that he puts out the Foundry Mechanic, and then we see the second where Robin Hood, so everything's going to be double taxed at this point, make it a little bit more difficult for him. May see some issues here, so he's playing... Didn't see how much he taxed, so he's teamwork training. He's got a teamwork training, the Robin Hood. Good play, especially with only 3 mana left for Hirama. Unless he has another bureaucrat in hand, that means board state will reset forward, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. He is going to play the 1 cost trooper, 2 cost left, so that means there's only a few different bureaucrats he could play from hand, whether that's Attorney, Legat, or even the 1 cost Frog Prince, or I guess he could play 2 cost Frog Prince, but I don't know if he's running the common or not. He is playing 2, he's playing the Ozma, he doesn't have any bureaucrat in hand. His board state will reset, but it looks like he will be able to double advance potentially. At least, no, he won't be able to double advance. He'll be able to single advance, and they'll both trade. Okay? So considering he had double Robin Hoods out, Lucius is able to get out of that with the teamwork training and still advance while keeping him from double advancing, and they'll both have board state reset because neither of them had a bureaucrat out. But since he didn't advance on the companion side, Lucius will have the token from Thoth. Thanks everyone who decided to stop by. Feel free to say anything in the chat. If you have any comments about the game, thoughts about Altered in general, your love of Waroo, just let us know. It's interesting watching them mess with the tumult on the top here. Interesting that they can make that smoother, but fine. It's a cool idea at the very least. Everyone is resourcing. He's taking a look at his discard pile, it looks like. Interesting. Wanted to see what he has available to them. It looks like he has 5 cards in hand. He is turn 1 player as far as Hirama, so we may see the Robin Hood right away. It looks like he has a spy in hand, and he's trying to determine if he wants to sabotage before playing the Robin Hood to get rid of the 1 cost Frog Prince in Lucius's serve, especially with a hand of only, looks like. Still deciding. Big decision here. I think it's purely down to if he is deciding to play the Robin Hood or the Spy first. Or maybe they're waiting for a judge ruling on something. It's hard to tell at the moment. But looks like he is thinking. He definitely has hand advantage, and their board states are fairly even. Looks like he's pulling the 4 mana, which likely means we'll see the Robin Hood first. Yep. Robin Hood first, deciding which side he wants to go on. And I have to imagine if he's going to sleep it as well, since Lucius is only 2 advances away. They could potentially 2-0 and end the game here. So sleep states are really important, and he plays the Robin Hood from hand. I didn't see that coming. Interesting that he would do that one opposed to the reserve, showing what's in his hand. And yeah, there goes the sticky note seal. Maybe that's why what he's expecting. He does only have 4 mana left, so he's pretty much down to either playing only 1 Robin Hood or something else from his hand. And keeping in mind that he probably can't sleep the Robin Hood, that'll be fleeting. Because then he leaves himself open for a 2-0. Interestingly enough, I don't believe we've seen any uniques in this matchup yet. They've been playing a big factor in the top 16 matches, especially the last one, the Sigmar. Oh yeah, so what am I talking about? So the other top 4 is Sigmar. We have 3 Waroos and 1 Sigmar. The current top Waroo from the Swiss is playing the Sigmar that we just watched in top 8. And we have these 2 Waroos here. So breakdown of top 4 is at least that. Top 8 I wouldn't know offhand, but I imagine it's pretty similar. Obviously, at least the 4, we had a Subhash. And we also had a Honest that won in top 16. So that's at least the 6 of them, and then this leaves 2 open for top 8. See a 3 tap for the Quets. We do see the non-sleeped Robin Hood previously played because he can't afford the 2-0. At this point, I think it's Lucius is just deciding if what side wants to win on. And he's just deciding not to sleep either. He's fine with the reset board state, especially being adjacent, being 2 areas on the tumult up at this point. Unless Iroma pulls a nice unique out, I have to imagine it's going to be pretty difficult for him to come back. Although Lucius has used a good amount of removal for the Robin Hood. 1 teamwork training and 1 sticky no seal. Not sure what else he has available to him. Trying to look into his hand. It looks like he has another Quetzalcoatl in his hand. Not sure about the other ones. I know Hiroma seemed to has a sticky note seal, which won't help with anything on the board currently, but potentially for a Robin Hood that Lucius would play. This is deciding if they want to resource. They'll only have 2 cards in hand. Can't see what card they're thinking about resourcing. I think it looks like a Rock Prince. But yeah, he is going to resource it. May have been that Frog Prince. I can't tell. It's hard to completely look at it. Hiroma still does have the hand advantage at this point, but is obviously down a lot on spaces as far as the tumult. So it'll make it difficult for the comeback to occur, especially at this point since he can't really afford to sleep many of his characters. Since he isn't first player, Lucius will be able to get a play out without the Robin Hood potentially affecting or taxing him. Interesting. He's only playing the 1-cost Frog Prince, and he's not going to sleep it. Especially knowing that the Robin Hood is coming. Interesting that he's deciding not to do that. Probably trying to leave as much mana open as possible in case he does decide to Robin Hood. And playing something cheap that would normally just be 2 cost. We do see the spy that I was talking about earlier, that I thought he might have been deciding to play the last day. And then it also delays any Robin Hood play, so that's 3 costs. He's left with 6 mana. He is he up on him there? He's tied. He's blocking enough based off of the Frog Prince on the companion side at this point. 2 cards left in hand for Lucius. I have to imagine he'll be able to play both. Plenty of mana available. Potentially an Ozma play with the amount of mana left, but he doesn't really have enough characters to capitalize on that. So he's gonna 2 cost. Question is, what is the 2 cost? Couldn't really see what's in the hand. Trying to decide which side to play on at this point. He is locked up on the companion side with the spy and his Frog Prince. He decides to go with the attorney, and he is going to sleep it. So probably the better play, hopefully trying to play not to win this turn, but to set up next turn. He will currently get the effect of the attorney. Only 4 mana left for Hirama, but he does have a good amount of cards in hand. Looks like 3 at least. And Hirama has been not resourcing lately, just purely to not get too far behind, it looks like. If you're looking at the mana resources, we have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9 from Lucius, and we only have 7 from Hirama. So he's at least not resourced 2 turns. Question is, what does he have in hand here? I think at this point, if he had another character to play and then a teamwork training to remove the attorney would be the most ideal situation. I don't think he's going to be able to play anything that he's going to be able to sleep, but maybe he will. I think he's just mostly worried at this point is if he does sleep something, all it takes, Lucius does have 1 card in hand with plenty of mana to play whatever it is and potentially just advance and win the game. So I do think this is best of 1, so a big decision here. I do not know what's in Lucius's hand. He's keeping it pretty close to himself. You see 2 tap happening here. A variety of things that could be. Plenty of bureaucrats are 2 cost. So yeah, there's the attorney. Is he going to sleep it? It does not look like he is going to sleep it. And it looks like Lucius just went ahead and passed right away. Which Hirama was definitely not hoping for. He was hoping he would be able to get him to use some more resources, but he does make him sleep the Robin Hood for next turn, make it a little bit more difficult, but Lucius will get the draw from the attorney, while Hirama will not. We'll have both of the cards go back to reserve. We'll get the advance, but is still down 1 space. They each have the effect from the Waroo based off the sleep from the Robin Hood and the sleep from the attorney. they'll both draw here. I believe they're both pretty similar as far as hand advantage is concerned. Thanks again for everyone that joined the stream. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat. Let me know if you would like to jump in for some commentary for the finals match that we'll come and we'll have right after this. If not, no big deal. Just go ahead and shoot me a message on Discord or right here in chat. Both of them are deciding what they want to do for the noon Waroo effect. A little bit more important for Hirama at this point, especially being only one down, but at this point only needing 2 advances to win, so they could realistically go 2-0 and take the victory back from Lucius, which would be a good comeback overall. Resource-wise, 6, 9, 10, 3, 6, 9, 10. I must have just been missing the resources from Hirama where they were in fact resourcing every turn, so they're even in that aspect. I think they're pretty even in hand. Even on the board somewhat. The Robin Hood does have the tax in play and is ahead on green. No, it is 3 Waroo in the top 4 and 1 Sigmar, who won in the top 8 against a Subhash. So top 8 is also, we know, is at least 3 Waroo, 1 Sigmar, 1 Subhash, and 1 Aphanis. The other 2 I'm not sure. I'd have to look around. We do see a unique frog print. I'm not sure what it does, but we do see the sticky note seal going on the Robin Hood to free up some mana. 6 mana left, 2 or 3 cards in hand for Lucius. Don't know the stats on the unique frog prints, but at this point it doesn't look like Hirama is sleeping anything. I believe Hirama is ahead on the companion side with the unique frog prints and the token, and is also currently ahead by at least 1 stat across the board on the hero side with just the token lining up for Lucius. Does have 6 mana left with multiple cards in hand. But we also see 6 cards left for Hirama with also multiple cards in hand and at least a 2/2/2 common spy in the reserve. So it looks like we have a decision from Lucius' side. Looks like they're holding on to 3 mana here. Yeah, 3 mana. So a lot of things that could be some more bureaucrats, potentially a spy, but it looks like it will be a Thoth that he will not be sleeping. So at this point, with things so close, it just looks like it's being a stat battle. We get into the part of where Waroo sometimes does struggle finishing, especially since you don't feel like you can sleep anything. And it looks like, based off of that play, that the Frog Prince unique effect is one that anytime a non-token character is played in either expedition, you're able to give fleeting to an opponent's character, because the Thoth was just able to was just added a fleeting counter. So interesting unique effect coming from a Waroo player. Usually you see some stuff more focused on token production or something that gives the Sandman effect, but in this case doing more of a Lyra based effect of adding fleeting to a character like an acapella training. Obviously seems pretty good when it comes to the Waroo matchup, especially if they're not sleeping a character. We see the second to last card in the hand of Haruma being played out being the Attorney. Lucius immediately passes, has some mana left, but nothing in hand to play. Doesn't look like they'll be able to advance on the companion side, and at this point looks like even on the hero side. So we may be going down to like a final breakdown here. Lucius did have the advantage going into these last few days, but has run out of cards to be able to play, and Hiram has been able to keep hand advantage pretty consistently throughout the turn, and is able to sleep the Attorney, which should be able to give them a 2-0 win there at the end there. And yeah, it's a 2-0 win, able to come back from being down at least 2 the entire matchup there. So congrats to Hirama taking that Waroo mirror. I'm not sure if this is going to be a best of 3 or not, being top 4. They haven't picked up their cards yet, so we'll see here in a second. They are picking up, so yeah, it'll just be a best of 1. Interesting matchup though. And I don't know if you all saw that, but at the very end there, when one of the Warrior players was picking up their deck, it looked like they had a unique Attorney in hand as well. Not sure what the effect would have been on that, but I do have a unique Attorney as well, and I use it as like a double tax. You're able to same do the Waroo tax, and then it's basically an additional rare Waroo. But mine has like an effect where you need to have a certain amount of tokens, I guess. But not sure what this one is, but could have been a variety of things. Unique Frog Prince for the winning Waroo player was able to give fleeting to a character anytime you play a non-token character, it looked like. So, wasn't able to have the effect do much because they won on that same turn, but they were able to utilize the stats at the very least and able to take that final day 2-0 despite being down 2 the entire time. So congrats there. We'll be going to the top 2. I know the setup is saying top 4 unless they haven't played the other top 4 match and they're saving that, but at the moment we just watched one of the top 4 matches. It was a Waroo mirror. The other top 4 is a Waroo versus a Sigmar, and that Waroo is actually the 9-0 Waroo from the Swiss, including the Sigmar that we had watched earlier in the top 8. They haven't changed the text on the stream. Not sure if we're going to be watching another top 4 matchup. Nope, that's done. We'll see the finals here shortly. It looks like. So we'll at least see one Waroo. Let me check to see if I can find out if the other Waroo beat the Sigmar or we're seeing another Waroo mirror in a finals. Let's see. Checking on Discord. Yep, we will have a Waroo mirror, including the 9-0 Waroo from the Swiss. So we see, I'll just type in the chat for everyone. don't know how to type apparently. But yeah, War Finals incoming. Let me sit there. I just get confused now with the forward option in Discord. There. Posting a bunch, everyone. Thanks for sticking around, enjoying my beautiful voice. Again, if anyone's interested and jumping in, adding a little commentary for the finals, just let me know. I'll get you an invite to the Discord, and we can talk to each other. Very personal Discord call. Probably just setting up this at this point for the final. Thanks for everyone that's joining. Just give them a minute. They've been doing interviews the last bit here. Looks like they're doing some promos here for something else. See how it goes. Biggest surprise thus far in the event would definitely be the top 8 Subhash. Good for them. And honestly, their top 8 match was pretty close, so they could have made top 4. They kind of just got beat out by seeing all 3 uniques from the Sigmar player that I think they needed to hit in order to win. So, looks like the Sigmar player did end up losing in the top 4 to the top Waroo player. So we will see a Waroo mirror incoming. It is a Waroo's world. We're all just living in it. Everyone wants to praise our Waroo master. Can get him real quick. But we are getting into the match here. Hirurama, who just had a good comeback in the Waroo Mirror, playing against Atigma, or Atigma, I don't know how to say it, but they are currently undefeated this entire tournament, 9-0 through Swiss, and obviously have won everything the top cut, so that would make them, what, 11-0 at this point? Or 12-0, actually? So, going for the undefeated run. We have the Waroo Mirror going in here. See a roll here to decide first player. Looks like they rolled 11 and they'll go first. So I think I'm going first. Hirurama going second. Waroo Mirror. I'm not sure if this is a best of 1 or best of 3, but will be interesting to see. Thanks for everyone that stuck around. Looks like we lost a few of you, but no big deal. Quick mana from Tigma, we'll see a Sticky Note Seal, a Thoth, and something else in hand. So we'll probably see Thoth played first, and we do. Immediately Slept. See a 2-tap Attorney, also Slept. We'll get some draw from Hirama. The 1 costs a Frog Prince that they will not sleep to get the advance, as well as getting the Attorney effect. Good play overall. We see the Thoth token immediately come out on the companion side, it looks like. Looks like we have the stacking of the tokens on the companion side going into day 2. Tigma will be up there by 1 token, and we have the Attorney and the Thoth both slept in turn 1. Reserve play of the Frog Prince that will not be slept, so probably has something in hand that they could sleep. Purely just to stat up at this point and put them above on the companion side. We'll have a 3/3 in the stats that they need. Potential double advance for both players, but nothing crazy. Alright, we see a unique Frog Prince coming out. Not sure what it does, but we'll take a look here and we'll see if we can figure it out as the game is played. So nothing immediately happening here. It doesn't look like it has a trigger effect. Just from here, it's hard to tell with the quality. No trigger effect, but it potentially has another Bureaucrat's effect. It was a 3-tap though, so it has to be something pretty significant. And we see a Sandman coming out to sleep the Attorney and get the effect of that again. So that'll cause a advance on both ends there. Companion and hero trade. And Hirama will keep the hand advantage with that draw from the Attorney. Similar to how they won in their top 4 matchup, where they just kept their hand advantage as much as possible, even being down multiple advances on the Tumult. So going for a similar effect. A lot of people think that if you don't hit Robin Hood a lot of the times it's hard to win, but honestly, Attorney draw effect is just amazing and just helps you keep advantage a lot of the time. Still not quite sure what the unique Frog Prince is doing, unless it is a Thoth effect. And that token is from the Thoth effect, or if that's just the Noon effect from Waroo. Not entirely sure at this point. It looks like it is the Noon effect, and we are not quite seeing what the Frog Prince is doing at this point. So, quick play, 2 cost, sleep in the Attorney. And 2 tokens are just played. So it looks like the Frog Prince is a token generator, potentially. So anytime a non-token character is played, potentially we see a token being played. I've seen a few of those. A popular card, I'm sure we've all seen it on the Discord. Go for way too much money in the marketplace. But second, let me post the stream link for some folks. Message link. But yeah, we have a 2 cosplay. Looks like it's coming out here. And it'll be a Legat that will also be slept. So looking to get a double effect here where they get the effect from both Attorney and the Legat. And yeah, with another character being played and another token being setting up, it seems like the Frog Prince is either producing the tokens in their own expedition, or it's an effect that produces it in the companion expedition. Three mana left for Hirama. I imagine they're probably going to play something. Oh, nope, they're not going to play another Bureaucrat. They're going to go ahead and teamwork training the Legat. They don't want anything to be sabotaged as far as resources are concerned, but they will trade expeditions once again. Hirama is still 1-up. Both players do have Bureaucrats on the board to be able to get the Waroo effect. Resource-wise, they both have a full reserve, and I think their hands are pretty similar if I'm not mistaken, but we'll take a look here after they draw. So going into day 4, I believe, with 6 mana. Going into day 4, just over 500 for this event as far as total players. Not quite as big as Andre's, but still quite a big event for a new game. But yeah, just over 500 players. This is the finale, the final. Hand-wise, it looks like we have 3 cards in hand for Atigma and 4 cards in hand for Hirama. So hand advantage going to Hirama. Similar board states. At this point, it'll be interesting to see what they do on the hero side, since neither player is advancing at this point. If they will just take the effect from their Bureaucrats, or if they will try to advance at this board. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fairly expected that we're likely to see Waroos in the finals, or at least one. The top 4 was 3 Waroos and 1 Sigmar. But we did see a Subhash in top 8, so that was pretty cool. I think that's the farthest we've seen a Axiom character at one of these events. It's interesting that it would be a Subhash and not a Trace. But we do see the unique come out immediately from Atigma, the Frog Prince that is a token generator. Basically, anytime he plays a non-token character, he's able to produce a token. I believe it's in either the companion side or the side that the Frog Prince exists. I think it's probably in its own expedition. It produces the token. I don't believe it's target expedition. So solid unique token production. We'll see the Attorney come out from the reserve, and the Legat coming from the reserve as well. Seems like they're planning on trading expeditions again. We will more than likely see the Legat from Atigma sabotage the Legat from Hirama, but we will also see a draw from Hirama. Still has 2 mana left though, both sides. Be curious to see if we see any play here, or they're just going to say, I'm fine with a double advance. Yeah, top 8 decks, as far as I know, we had at least 3 Waroo, 1 Sigmar, obviously with the top 4. We had at least 1 Aphanis and at least and just the 1 Subhash. So I'm not entirely sure of the other 2. I'd have to look through a little bit. I've been streaming, so it's been hard to check for it. But if I were to make a bet, it potentially was probably at least 1 more Aphanis and at least 1 more Waroo, based off of what I saw from top 16 jumping in there. You see Teamwork Training knock out one of the attorneys, so he will not be able to double draw. They will trade expeditions again though, so Hirama will maintain the lead in that way. But board state wise, at this point, Enigma definitely has the advantage and has the ability to 2-0 here, I would have to say. And he will sabotage the attorney instead of the Legat. That was from the effect, at dusk effect of his own Legat that didn't advance in the hero side. So we're finding out where they're putting their tokens for Waroo's effect here. Hiram is probably trying to decide if he wants to keep it on one side or another, or making a decision of if he wants to advance one end or match what Atigma did with his token. And he will place it on the opposite side, not trying to potentially win on the companion side at this point. He is playing up against a unique Frog Prince. I'm not sure its stats, but assuming it follows the same stat line or similar stat line to other Frog Princes, he should be ahead in Mountain. We do see a play from Atigma to produce another token for the Frog Prince. Okay, so he moved the token that he had previously played, so the Frog Prince itself must have a similar effect where it does produce a token, but it also lets you move one of your own characters. So is it like a Ride the Bifrost or a hooked effect for yourself? That'd be interesting if it is. I'd be definitely interesting to see this unique Frog Prince when it comes out, or if they release the deck list. It's more, as far as the Robin Hood effect into the mirror, obviously it affects you, but it isn't really as I don't think it's as devastating unless you are able to play 2 of them. Anytime you're double taxed, it kind of hurts. We even saw a previous player in a Waroo matchup be able to handle 2 Robin Hoods and just teamwork training one of them. And the other one wasn't slept, so it made for them. So it's more important, in my opinion, and granted I'm not a full-on Waroo player, it's more important your placement of your bureaucrats, placement of your tokens from the Waroo effect, and balancing when you're going to sleep and when you're not going to sleep. Seems like they're laughing a little bit about the Frog Prince unique effect. Tigma definitely has a look on his face of like he's pretty happy with it. We do see the teamwork training work on it immediately to get it out of play and let him not utilize it anymore. At this point, they are tied on the companion side of things. It looks like with 3-3-3 across the board. And it looks like Tigma is advancing on the hero side at this point, but that means he will not get the effect of his attorney, but he does have 3 mana left, it looks like. Hirama is currently not advancing anywhere, but will get a sabotage effect off, but it doesn't look like he'll have anything to sabotage at this point since the other legat for Tegma will be sent to the discard and everything else is asleep. So we will see the rest of the mana tapped for the Thoth. That will not be slept, so it will leave a sabotage target if he wants it at this point, but at the result of getting 2-0'd. As far as advances are concerned, that will put him behind, so it'll be curious to see what he does here. He does 3 cost, and he's not going to sleep the Quets, so they will tie on that side. So they'll both get effects off, and Atigma will get the 1 advance. So he will get the sabotage off on the Thoth that Hiram will get the sabotage off on the Thoth. That's why Atigma immediately puts it to the discard. They'll both get a draw off of the right side, or the companion side, and the board state will be as you see it currently. A lot happening in that round, but now we're all evened up. Atigma does have a better board state overall. Apologize if I'm saying the name wrong, but there you go. 3 cards in hand or 4 cards? It's hard to tell. 3 or 4 cards in hand for Atigma. I think it's similar, 1, 2, 3, 4 for Hirama. They both have 7 mana, I believe. Hirama going into the top cut from Swiss was 7-1-1. Atigma was in fact 9-0, the only undefeated player in Swiss. We see a early play of an Orders Trooper just to get things started for Hirama. That will tie things in the companion expedition with 2 mountain apiece, and then we will see the new popular Ordis cadets in the Waroo deck lists to put him up by 2 on mountain for the brown. On the companion expedition, we'll see the Ozma come out for another draw, try to maintain hand advantage. Looks like we have 3 cards in hand for Atigma. Neither player has played a sleep bureaucrat until now. We see the bureaucrat being slept. Basically making Hirama decide if you want to win that side, you'll have to let me draw a card. Uh, 3 mana left for Atigma, 4 for Hirama. So he could play the Quetzalcoatl from reserve, but he probably doesn't have many other plays from hand at that point. So he's going to play a 2-cost another Ozma to get some more draw. and I believe that should put him well ahead on the companion side. We will see the teamwork training on the Legat, so he will not get the effect of the sabotage on any of the cards that he has out in play, but it also means that he was ahead, but now we see the cadets being played, and now he's ahead on that side. Or they're tied, actually. So we'll just see one advance. So it looks like Hirama prioritized the idea of, even though he's giving the draw to Atigma for the attorney that didn't advance, he didn't want to see him advance as well, and he wanted to take the lead on the tumult. A lot of cards in reserve, so we'll see which one he wants to sabotage at this point. I believe he gets a sabotage, yeah, because he had a Legat out. Now he'll have to make a decision of any of the cards he wants to keep. Imagine... Don't know if he's going to keep the Ozmas. I think he might get rid of them. I think his hand's fairly large at this point, so I don't know if he needs it, but he may prioritize that. He has been prioritizing hand size more than anything in these mirror matchups. He's going to get rid of at least one. I think he's trying to decide, does he want to keep the other one or not. He has been currently reset because he didn't play any slept bureaucrats. So it'll be more difficult to play the Ozma for the draw. So it may just be better to stick with the one cost stat monster that is the Trooper. But he does decide to keep the Ozma and the Trooper instead of the Quetzalcoatl. Interesting. I'd be curious to see what he has in his hand at this point to make that decision. Let's see if we can take a look here. He draws two. He only had two in hand, so maybe that was a factor in his decision. As Antigma is going through, it does look like he potentially has a unique in his hand. Hard to tell, to be honest. The black card backs are making it really hard to count, man. But it looks like they both have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 mana. Yep, so we did see another unique Frog Prince. I'm not sure what it is. It is being slept. This previous Frog Prince was able to produce tokens when non-token characters were played. And it also let him move characters too, so like either a hooked or ride the Bifrost type of effect. Again, I'd be curious to see what those are, but interesting in that aspect because it also means that he's probably only playing either one rare Frog Prince or none, to be honest, because he's already used 2 unique slots for the Frog Prince. Yeah, we'll see with some other cards if we see any effects being played for the Frog Prince. It does look like it has a trigger effect, just from here. Quality's not that great, so it's hard to tell. Decisions for Hirama. Interesting enough, in this final match, we have not seen any Robin Hoods, whether unique or rares, so they have not drawn into any of them. Still a close game though, regardless. It looks like he's looking at potentially tapping 4 right now, so we may see our first Robin Hood. We do. First Robin Hood scene. Question is he going to sleep it? I think there's something about this unique Frog Prince is making him not want to sleep it, so he does in fact not sleep it. 4 mana left. Can't really tell how much Tigma has left because again the black card backs are making it a little bit difficult to figure that out. I think he has 5 left, if I'm looking at it correctly. But yeah, so he'll use 3. Yeah, so he did have 5 left. He has 2 mana left. He decides to sticky note the Robin Hood, and he is currently looking at 2-0ing the board, which will put him both adjacent and ahead of the match, unless Hiroma is able to play something here. So there are a few plays he can make. He can play the Trooper to tie up one side or go ahead on the other, I believe. Yeah, because it's a green-brown on the hero side, and that they're both on, and then on the companion side, their Tigma's on the brown or mountain, and Hirama is on the blue or water and mountain, blue and brown. So cadets will tie things up on that side and get him ahead on the hero side if he wants to. I mean, trooper rather than cadet. Sorry about that. And we do in fact see the trooper being played, it looks like. Interesting that he wants to go with the tie on the tourney. It makes me think that something is pretty good about that Frog Prince. He is deciding he may play it on the other end, so we'll see if we can find out the unique Frog Prince effect here shortly. He does have 2 mana left, Atigma does, so he can play both of the cards in his reserve, not have to play anything in his hand. Looks like he has a Quetzalcoatl in his hand, 2 Quetzalcoatls in his hand, and I can't tell that third card. Potentially an Ozma? Yeah, it looks like an Ozma. So we do see him finalize the trooper play to tie up things on the attorney side. He does have 3 mana left. Not sure what he has in his hand. I doubt he's going to be playing the Ozma, because he will not get the effect that he has in reserve. So he potentially has a 3-cost bureaucrat in hand. I would have to imagine that he was going to sleep. We do see the cadets being played for Tigma. That will allow him to get farther ahead on that side. And he's placing 2 tokens, which makes me think that we have a similar effect of the Frog Prince, to where if he plays a non-token character in either expedition, he's able to produce a token of some sort. What the exact specifics on that, we're not sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a token generator. His previous Frog Prince was a token generator of some sort, and so yeah, it looks like it is a token generator. So specifically, it seems that whenever he plays a non-token character, he can produce a token. And since he played it in the Hero Expedition at this point, it makes me think that it's either Target Expedition or it's in the Frog Prince's expedition itself. It's always hard to tell specifically, but it definitely is a token generator based off of playing a non-token character. And his previous one was similar that he played as far as a unique Frog Prince. So that will put him ahead on the companion side, it looks like. But interesting, he's only ahead by... No, he ties water at this point. No, he's up by 1 in water, sorry. So he's only ahead by 1 water, so that does leave the door open for Hirama to play something with water on that side if he wants to try to advance. Because at this point he is getting 2-0'd. He does play the cadets to tie things up over there, and he'll just take the 1 advance, okay? Hirama must be pretty low on bureaucrats to be able to be played because he decided not to sleep the Robin Hood that he played earlier that eventually got sticky note sealed, but and then he didn't play anything, so his board is reset again. This will be 2 turns in a row where he doesn't have a bureaucrat out to play his token from the Waroo effect. But we are all tied up. Tigma does seem to have the board advantage at this point. I'm not sure as far as hand advantage who it goes to. It looks like Hirama potentially only has 1 card in hand, which would mean Tigma also has the hand advantage. The reserves are pretty even. Hirama is trying to decide which card he'd like to get rid of from his reserve at this point. I imagine it's between the Cadets and the Ozma. Maybe he's planning on getting rid of the Robin Hood. I'd be surprised if he is. Yeah, still trying to make a decision. Yeah, so 3 cards in hand for Tigma. It looks like I believe 2 of them are Quetzalcoatl's and the other is an Ozma. Oh, he does get rid of the Robin Hood. Surprise. So he's just playing purely based off of trying to play as much as possible, especially going first, being first player and getting rid of the Robin Hood is quite surprising. It must have a lot to do with the unique Frog Prince and just not being able to catch up. The 4 costs of the Robin Hood just isn't worth it to him, I guess. He'll only have 4 mana to work with at that point. Looks like he did draw into another Robin Hood though, if I'm looking at his hand correctly. The first card in his hand, another. And he's deciding to resource it. Wow. So he is not valuing the Robin Hood at all at this point. I'm pretty sure he just resourced the Robin Hood. So that'll put them at 9 mana each. It does look like we might see a teamwork training in Atigma's hand as well. So that'll be big here if he plans to get the 2-0. Go a full 12-0 for the event. We do see the unique attorney that I had mentioned in the previous matchup. I imagine it has a Robin Hood effect. It costs 3. We'll see how much he taps here and how much that's what he plays. So it's looking like he's tapping 2 and playing a attorney, which means it's not a Robin Hood effect, I believe, for the unique attorney of Hirama. So we may be looking at another token generator or something similar. So since Atigma did play the attorney to the companion side and was able to produce another token, that makes me think that the unique Frog Prince is able to produce tokens in either expedition. Interesting enough, we're coming to the end game now where neither player is deciding to sleep their characters, either planning for a 2-0 or trying to prevent a 2-0. Always an interesting point of the game, especially with a Waroo mirror. or when you're just playing Waroo in general, how much you prioritize either not losing or just trying to go for the win. Can either make or break you. Hirama doesn't seem very confident on what he can do here. Decides to play the cadets on that side. Produces a token and produces another token, so that makes me think it is a token producer for the unique attorney, similar to the uniques that Sigmar has been playing. We see another attorney from reserve being played, another token coming out. You see Ozma being played, another token, and then he'll get a draw. Looks like he drew a spy, which is not going to help him at this point. They're both just stacking that side. And it looks like it's a GG. Just overloaded the sides too much. Is going to be able to 2-0 and take that win for Atigma. He'll go 12-0, and Hirama shows that he had an Isatok that he was not able to play. So GG's, we do see another Waroo victory. Atigma, I believe, with the Altered Aces. Team is able to take the win and the victory in the tournament undefeated, 13-0 for the whole event, over 500 players. Congrats to him. I believe the rewards are posted on the Ludotrotter Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. For everyone else that joined me here on the English, for me doing some English commentary, I appreciate it. Feel free to like the stream, subscribe to my channel. I have plenty of altered content, including interviews from tournaments, and just some random things as far as gameplay and the like, as well as some pack openings. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, feel free to watch some of my videos. Past that, thanks for everyone that stopped by again, and I will talk to you later. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream.